have your attention for a moment. We want to get our proceedings underway this evening. First of all, welcome to each and every one of you to the campus of Middle Tennessee State University. My name is Chip Walters. I'll be your Master of Ceremonies as we go through the evening tonight. Just getting started here, we're all friends of Steve and Denise and the Smith family, and we're all here to share our love for them tonight on what is a very special evening for their family, our university, and our Department of Athletics. And to give you all a little set the stage and how tonight's going to go, I'd like to welcome our Director of Athletics, Chris Massaro.
Thanks, Chip. Good evening, everybody. What a great night. Tonight's a celebration not just of a building, but a vision realized of two very special people. Please join me in congratulating our dear friends Steve and Denise Smith for their unwavering commitment to our country, to our state, to our university, and to our student athletes. Their name will grace this extraordinary facility, the Stephen and Denise Smith Student Athletic Performance Center. We are videotaping this whole show tonight here, the unveiling, and the third floor dinner, so Denise will have an opportunity to view it in her own home. So wave hi to the cameras and all those kind of things and say hi to Denise. Let me give you a quick overview of the building because we're getting a lot of questions about it. The first floor houses the Kevin Byard Strength and Conditioning Center, so that's what you see through our windows. Also on the first floor is the Doug and Susan Young Nutrition Center and the TOA Sports Medicine Center. These areas are for every one of our student athletes to train and recover. It's kind of where science meets sweat. Additionally, the first floor features a state-of-the-art football locker room and the Brian and Melinda Kidd Players Lounge. On the second floor, which is the Joey Jacobs Operations Center, features football offices, staff rooms, meeting rooms, position rooms, everything dedicated to football. On the third floor, the SRM Concrete Club is our beautiful dining and event space where we'll be enjoying tonight's evening together. There's a couple of factoids I'd like to throw out about this building. There's over 63 miles of communication cable running through the building. If it were stretched from end to end, it would reach to Franklin, Kentucky. Nearly 11 miles of steel hold this facility together. And if you laid it end to end, our mayor here is we'd stretch it from here to Smyrna. There's 5.5 million screws in the building. So looking that up, and I wanted to compare it to the state of Tennessee, but the closest state is there's about 5.5 million residents of the state of South Carolina. So there's one screw for every resident of South Carolina in there. Following the program, we'll take a short walk to the front, and that's where the unveiling of the sign for the Stephen and Denise Smith Student Athletic Performance Center. So they'll pull the tarp off of it. There'll be photo opportunities there. And so we've got limited seating in the shade, so those of you that maybe have more trouble standing, please feel free to use those chairs and be comfortable. We'll be taking the official photos with the Smiths and the Stinson families and our elected officials. If you'd like to have your photo taken at this time, just wave down Jane Lynch, and there she is, way over there in the corner, so she'll be helping us coordinate this as well. After the unveiling, we'll all head up to the third floor for dinner. We have one lobby elevator, and those that are able to are welcome to take the stairs. And there's a few notes for dinner tonight. There are assigned tables, so on the back of your name tag is your table number. So as you get to dinner, just go to your table first, and then we'll start the program then, and then they'll start orderly excusing the tables to go to the buffet line. So we can try to stay on schedule. Those of you who know Steve, schedule is really important to Steve. So we're going to try to stay on schedule tonight. For anyone wanting to tour the building, we'll be available afterwards, and we'll have details at the end of dinner. So we're just asking you to go straight up, and then if you want to tour the building, we can do it afterwards. So let's enjoy this evening. It's going to be a night we're all going to remember. and it's a great way to honor our dear friend Steve and Denise Smith. So thank you so much. We want to exit, those of you, if you want to get your last bit of water and stuff, we'll exit over here, and then we'll pull the tarp for the official dedication of the building.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Andrew Ottman, and I've got to take I have the loudest voice on the MTSU staff. So y'all want to focus your attention. We've got a few photos we're going to do, but we can't start this without first acknowledging the great contributions, giving the great honor of unveiling the naming of this Chairman Smith and his family. So I'm going to get a little closer to Steve. We're going to do a countdown. When we do a countdown, we're going to do it's going to be like 5, da 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 da. And we're all just going to scream and yell. This is on video, okay? Y'all know your rules, right? Okay. Chairman Smith, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
We are going to count down from 5, and when I get to 0, let them go. You guys ready? All right. So 0 is the release, okay? We're clear. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0! Yeah!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Smith Student Athlete Performance Center, and welcome to the campus of Middle Tennessee State University for our dedication of this wonderful new building. And also to celebrate our friends, Steve and Denise Smith. This isn't just about bricks and mortar, it is about belief. And the belief in our student athletes, in their drive, their discipline, and in the power of sports to shape character and community. This facility stands as a powerful symbol of our commitment to excellence, not only in competition, but in the holistic development of those who wear a Blue Raider uniform. It reflects years of vision, planning, and unwavering support from leaders, donors, alumni, and friends who understood that investing in our student athletes is investing in our future. So tonight, we celebrate more than a building, we celebrate a legacy in the making, and thank all of you for being part of it tonight. I'd like to bring up Kenneth Victory at this time for our invocation. Most of you all know him as Coon Victory. He played third base at Middle Tennessee, batted around 300 for his career. He is a member of the Blue Raiders Sports Hall of Fame. And here's one of the great fun facts about Coon Victory. He was inducted into the Sports and Travel Tour Hall of Fame at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown for visiting, at the time, all 30 Major League ballparks with his grandson. At this time, please welcome Coon Victory.
Thank you, Chip. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we gather tonight with grateful hearts to celebrate the completion of this athletic facility, a space made possible through vision, generosity, and a deep belief in the future of our student athletes. We give thanks for every donor who contributed to this effort, and especially to Steve and Denise Smith, whose name now stands as a lasting symbol of their commitment and care. Bless this facility and all who enter it. May it be a place where discipline is learned, character is built, and excellence is pursued, both on the field and in life. Guide the athletes, coaches, and mentors who will call this place home. Strengthen them with purpose, integrity, and unity. We dedicate this space to your glory and to the growth who will compete, train, and lead here. Amen.
We do want to tell you to go ahead and enjoy your salads. We will release you for the main courses here shortly. At this time, it's an honor to have our first couple with us this evening, our First Lady, Dr. Elizabeth McPhee, and our President, Dr. Sidney A. McPhee. It's my privilege to introduce a transformative leader whose legacy at Middle Tennessee State University is both profound and enduring. President Sidney A. McPhee, since stepping into the role in 2001, Dr. McPhee has led MTSU through an extraordinary period of growth, innovation, and distinction. His visionary leadership has ushered in over $1.5 billion in investments across academic and athletic facilities, expanded and elevated academic programs, and positioned MTSU as a leading choice for first-generation and transfer students from across Tennessee. Today's event here at the Smith Athletic Performance Center stands as a testament to Dr. McPhee's unwavering dedication not only to athletic excellence, but to the comprehensive development of every student athlete who calls this university home. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to the President of Middle Tennessee State University, Dr. Sidney A. McPhee.
Thank you, Chip, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, look at this crowd. That's not a true Blue Raider response. Let's try that again. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, thank you. Indeed, it's my pleasure to welcome you to tonight's very special celebration as we honor two of our most loyal Blue Raiders, Steve and Denise Smith, with the official naming of our Student Athlete Performance Center. We are grateful for your attendance and honored that you have chosen to join us for this extraordinary evening. Steve and Denise have demonstrated their love for the university for more than 4 decades. Their service and dedication is truly second to none, and we've benefited greatly from their dedication and commitment of time, counsel, and resources. From the first time I met them, nearly 25 years ago, they've been a constant source of support and encouragement, often gently and occasionally persistently, pushing the university to higher levels of success. If there's one thing about their passion that stands out to me, and I hope it does to you as well, they have a very clear vision of what the university could be and have always been willing to lead the challenge of getting us to the next level of success. Outstanding individuals like them just don't happen, ladies and gentlemen. They are the product of their education, their life experiences, and the support of family, friends, and neighbors. Steve and Denise represent the highest level of achievement and personal success, and they have brought distinction to MTSU community and the community at large, and I might say the state and the nation. I'm certain that as we celebrate them tonight, that their story will serve to inspire and motivate others to follow in their paths. So over the next few minutes, you will hear from a number of Smith's friends and associates, and I might add, they represent the who's who of Tennessee's business and political leadership. I said they are Tennessee's royalty. They're joining us not to roast Steve and Denise, but to honor their selfless sacrifice, their unwavering support for MTSU, and their ongoing efforts to see this university achieve the greatest possible success in all that it does. The First Lady, MTSU, Liz McPhee, and I honored to be part of this extraordinary evening, and we are truly humbled to welcome you to our beautiful campus, MTSU, Tennessee's best university, the best on this side of heaven. We consider each of you a very special part of the Blue Raider community, and you will always be welcome to the most beautiful campus of Middle Tennessee State University. Thank you for being here tonight.
The next gentleman we bring to the podium is former United States Senate Majority Leader Bill Frist. You know, it's unusual for someone to lead one great effort in their lifetime and in their career. Senator Frist has led three. Nationally acclaimed heart and lung transplant surgeon creating the Vanderbilt Heart Transplant Center. We mentioned former United States Senate Majority Leader. His leadership was instrumental in the passage of the historic PEPFAR legislation, a program that has saved the lives of more than 26 million people across the world. And he's a founding partner of the Frist-Cressy Venture, a venture capital private equity company that now ranks in the top 4% of 1,400 top-performing firms. Please welcome United States Senator and former United States Senator Bill Frist.
My Lynn, architect of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, said, "To me, a building is more than just walls and a roof. It's about a place and the people who give it meaning." You know, this quote speaks so directly to Denise and Steve and how their presence and how their values and how their leadership and relationships give this very building its meaning, its spirit, its soul. And it will be a constant, not just for us tonight, but for literally generations to come. When Tracy and I look back over our life together, there's been one constant for us, and that is Denise and Steve Smith. They didn't join us on our first date, but it was our second and our third and our fourth and every chapter that has followed. We traveled the world together, always as couples, always as friends, and always under the detailed direction of Denise. You know, Denise, as has been mentioned, can't be with us tonight, but she'll be looking at the film and really sharing in this occasion. But it really is she that I want to just give you a couple of comments about. She is the one who has the real passion for athletics, but it's not just about the games, it's about the players, it's about the students, it's about the relationships, it's about the rhythm of life shared around that being together, the competition, the team spirit. And it's that same spirit that shaped the love and the marriage the two of them have had. And in fact, it is that spirit that keeps Steve grounded in this community and surrounded by so many friends that are here to share tonight. Steve really has told me more than once, but he said, if I got home late, Denise would say, "We've only got 15 minutes or we'll be late for the game." Yes, it really is Denise that makes sure that Steve is there, that he shows up on time. She does organize everything. I mentioned we travel together. It's she who does the orchestration. She's the power in making it all happen. Denise grew up, there's a reason and a why to this love, not just for Steve, but for athletics and this building and what it represents. She grew up with four brothers, all athletes, two with us tonight. She was the only girl, and she spent her childhood literally in the bleachers. Steve says again, they used to say Denise has been to more rainouts than most people had games. Steve has told me that so many times. He especially loves, and she loves the women's basketball, and they love her back. She brings to all of us this spirit of promise and this spirit of hope. Always reading, always learning. The sons, Stephen and Matt, who of course are with us here tonight, she is the one who gave them their intellect, their smarts. And what did Steve get? Well, I don't know, but some horse sense coming along the line. Steve has been my good friend and really my best friend for almost 60 years. He's been a loyal friend. Obviously, we know a disciplined athlete, a proud parent, a horseman, a cattleman, the list goes on, an adventurer, a devoted husband, and one of the most patriotic, we all know, one of the most trusted and sentimental people I know. He never, ever, ever in 60 years has promoted himself. So let's give it to him tonight because he really deserves. This is about a promotion of Denise and Steve Smith. The other day, Steve mentioned to Denise, he said, you know, Mom, they're going to name a big building after you at MTSU, and she didn't really say anything that night. He said it again the next morning, and he said the exact same thing. And this time, she looked up and smiled and said, really? Well, will I get a statue too? That's Denise's wit, it's Denise's happiness, it's the laughter that she brings to all us and her being in charge. So the building does bear their names, but I do think it's Denise's spirit that's in every single piece of glass, every piece of metal that is here. And Steve's loyalty and his leadership and his friendship and his love that has carried all this forward for all of us and generations and generations and generations of student athletes to come. Yes, indeed, it's about a place and the people who give it meaning. Thank you, Steve and Denise.
Thank you, Senator Frist. Time now for dinner, and then we'll get the other part of our program in a bit. But Steve, as a former baseball player, we're going to go over the ground rules first. Jane Lynch and Leanne right there, they're going to be releasing tables to go through the buffet line. If you should happen to need a vegan option, please let a server or Jane Lynch or Leanne know. And as soon as the last person gets through the food line, we will begin the remainder of our program. So enjoy your dinner, have a great time, and while you're eating dinner, take a look out at the video board and check the slideshow out there of Steve and Denise. Enjoy your night. Thank you, Senator Frist. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we'll ask you to continue with your dinner as we get our program underway and continue to eat your dinner and dessert. And for first meal in the new building, thumbs up? Good, great job. Well, to set the stage for this tonight, let's first show you a video that was done before our Raiders' Choice Awards this past May. That is an event that celebrates the athletic and academic achievements of Blue Raiders student athletes. On that night, our friends, Steve and Denise, were recognized for their impact on Blue Raider athletics and the university with the Blue Raider Impact Award.
On behalf of the baseball program, we want to thank Steve Smith and his family for all the contributions over the years. He and his wife, Denise, we love having them at as many of our games as they can possibly attend. And the impact that Steve's made over the years and the fact that he played in our program and has been a part of Blue Raider baseball as a player is extra special as well. We are so appreciative, and congratulations, Steve.
Early on, I saw real quick that Steve Smith was a giver. He was not a taker. He was a giver. You would see him at the baseball games and the football games and the men's and women's basketball games, and at all times you would see Denise there with him. When we needed Bill Blue, guess who stepped up? When we needed some things to go right with the Murphy Center, again, guess who stepped up and made sure it went to the governor and to the state legislation with Dr. McPhee and made sure things came back like it should, gave us the money that we needed to revamp Murphy Center. And how special of a couple they are, how special Steve is, how special Denise is. This award that they're getting tonight, they very much deserve.
Well, Steve, it's been a little over 50 years since you and I started school out here at MTSU. over that 50 years, there's not one time that I came to you and asked you to do something for MTSU, and you always responded by saying, just let me know what I need to do. And you've been true blue since before Dr. McPhee came out with that slogan. You were true blue when we first came to school here, and you've never taken those colors away from inside of you. And the old saying is that it takes a good woman to be behind a good man. And Denise, that's what you've done. And we're just so proud to be able to give this award to you, and go blue.
It's very rare for a chairman of the Board of Trustees to also be in your school's Athletic Hall of Fame. And Steve did that. He was an outstanding left-handed pitcher for us in the 70s. He's also been in a true partnership with Denise. And we've been over to their house for countless athletic fundraisers where they've hosted it and raised a lot of money and those kind of things for us. And then Steve, when we did the Build Blue campaign, Steve was one of the first $1 million donors we had. And not only did he give us $1 million, but then he went out and got his friends and associates to also contribute. So Steve and Denise have been fantastic partners. They've been giving and been philanthropic from day one, from his graduation till now. He always is thinking about ways to help our athletes. And his primary concern is that you guys graduate. And Denise is his main organizer, keeps everything running, and she's just one of the best people I've ever been around. And so it's our honor to be able to give this award to Steve and Denise Smith.
Again, that was back in May at our Raiders' Choice Awards, which is one of our great year-ending events. This time, our next speaker will be former Congressman Bart Gordon. Bart represented Tennessee in the House of Representatives for 26 years. He started his political career as president of the student body here at Middle Tennessee. And for most of his life, he's been looking for ways to help MTSU. He and Governor Alexander were responsible for securing the federal dollars for the renovation of Middle Tennessee Boulevard. That was an $18.2 million project, and Governor Alexander said that that was probably the most expensive mile in the state of Tennessee history. We'll see. And he also, even now, Bart continues to provide constant advice to our chairman and our president. So glad to have him here tonight. Please welcome Bart Gordon.
Well, Chip, I have to say that's an improvement on an introduction that I got from Senator Alexander a few years ago. Now, Bart, you may not remember this, but we were down at Oak Ridge. We were working on the American Competes Act, and I was chairman of the Science Committee at the time. And Senator Alexander introduced me by saying, this is my friend Bart Gordon. He's the dean of the Tennessee congressional delegation. Then he said, but dean doesn't mean he's the smartest, just means he's been here the longest. So John Rose, when you go down campaigning for governor down in Memphis, you can tell Steve coined that since he's the new dean down there. And seeing all these members of Congress here, it reminds me of when my daughter was in preschool. They had one of those show and tells one morning. And so one of the girls brought a frog, a bullfrog. Matter of fact, it was a talking bullfrog. And so the bullfrog told my daughter that he used to be a congressman, but he was put under a magic spell, and he's going to have to be a bullfrog unless my daughter would kiss him. So she wasn't interested in that. Please, kiss me. I want to be a congressman again. No. So Peyton just picked up the bullfrog, put it in her pocket, and walked off. And the girl said, aren't you going to kiss him? And she says, heck no, a talking bullfrog's worth a whole lot more than a congressman. Now, if it had been Senator Haggerty, maybe she would have kissed that frog. I don't know. Well, we've alluded to the fact that Denise is not here tonight, and Senator Frisk made some comments there. We're all friends here. We know she's been under the weather for a while. But she has been a part of all of Steve's success, both by her support, her good common sense, and just that big, pretty smile. So I frequently kid Denise about being a trifecta wife. She goes to all the ball games with Steve. She enjoys going to the ball games with Steve, and she normally knows more about the players when she gets there than Steve. Now that's a trifecta, as you've seen it also, Senator. So she is, and in the meantime, she raised two fine sons, Stephen and Matt. But you know, even in the best of families, there are adversities. So Stephen and Matt really wanted to follow Steve here at MTSU, but it just didn't work out. But fortunately, they had a backup, and they both went to Princeton and did very well. And thinking of, and I'll say one more thing about Denise, because, you know, most of us remember in the sense that we read about Lou Gehrig's famous farewell speech at Yankee Stadium. And I think that if Denise would channel Lou Gehrig, that she would probably say that I had a bad break, but I was lucky to have a loving and supporting husband, a loving and supporting two sons, and a loving, supporting family and friends. And so Denise Stinson Smith, God bless you. You're in our hearts here today. So let me get on to my job. And that was for you, Denise, not me. So let me get on to my job here, and that is to tell you how we got here and why I think it's important. Dr. McPhee, through his leadership, has helped bring really a much higher profile to MTSU in the state, in the region, internationally and nationally, and as well as bringing hundreds of millions of dollars of new academic buildings here to MTSU. But during that time also, we didn't quite keep up with our athletic infrastructure. Some of our peers did a better job. So Dr. McPhee went to Chris and said, well, tell me, what do we need to do here? Tell us about a plan. And so Chris put that together. Steve, as chairman of the board, saw it and said, that's a lot of money. You know, how are we going to do that? And he thought, well, you know, it's going to be like a puzzle. There's not just one pocket. T. Boone Pickens didn't go to school here. So we're going to have to, you know, do it by some federal, some public, some university, and we'll put it all together. And so we started looking at that puzzle. As was mentioned earlier, Bill Blue was a good first part of that. And Steve was the first $1 million contributor. And I see some of you grimacing here in that he went to CU and got money there too, but he put it all together. And then they looked at the university. Where can we find some funds there? And you put this public fund, the university funds, and those private funds together, and here we are, $67 million later. Thank you, Steve. That's a pretty good job. But the job's not over. We're not letting him go home yet. You look next door to Murphy Center. And if this is a big fish, this is even a bigger fish. So he had to really get creative. And so what he discovered was that MTSU is the the second least expensive state school in Tennessee. Yet we graduate students here, graduates, at the least cost to the state. So he gathered up our excellent state delegation and put them on the leadership there in the legislature. Went to see his good friend and our good friend, Butch Ely. I mean, somewhere, thank you, Butch. So he went to see Butch, the lieutenant governor, and said, you know, here's the situation. How do we approach the governor? They went in, they saw the governor, and said, come on, you know, we're doing our part. You know, the second most inexpensive school, you're getting your best monies out of it, give us some help. And so, you remember, who was it on Andy Griffith? Anyway, he used to say, Shazam. Well, Shazam, Goober, okay, Shazam, $119 million. That was a pretty good lick. And so Murphy Center is going to be coming along. And so let me tell you why I think first of all, just put it in perspective, and then why it's important. We know 100 miles of hate up the road. A few years ago, Lamar, that means Western Kentucky. So a few years ago, they had a major renovation and expansion of their Diddle Arena. And it was $32 million. So put the inflation calculator on that, and it's $57.5 million. $1,019,000 going over there. So it's going to be a wonderful facility for many, many good reasons. And as Steve says, it's going to be the new front door of the university. And Senator, when you were down here for the dedication of Middle Tennessee Boulevard, you told us the importance of curb appeal for a university. This is going to be curb appeal. And the reason there and the significance is there are thousands, literally thousands of high school students, their little brothers, their little sisters, and their parents coming through here every year. And Chris got some figures for me. And in 2023, 14 different high schools in 4 different counties did their graduation or their commencements here, as well as Motlow and some other junior colleges. In addition, there was 56 TSSAA basketball games here, spring fling, the whole works. So these folks are going to come and they're going to say, this is a first-class operation. I want to learn more about it. And they learn about megatronics. They learn about the concrete management program. They learn about the historic preservation. They learn about the aviation program and say, well, this is a pretty good place. I think I'm going to come here. And then what it's also going to lead to, I think, is an entertainment district that's going to be, you never should get your cards out of order. So let me come back just a little bit here. So there's going to be an entertainment center here, I think, all along this area. It's going to recruit students. Now, it may not help with their retention, but it's going to help bring even more students in, which is going to be more state and city taxes, and it's going to bring revenue in to also to the university. And so Steve said, well, if you're a big-time university, you need to have a hotel on campus. So Dr. McPhee is working, as you've all read, to bring a hotel over to the Woodfin Corner. And so you don't want to really have a hotel on an island. And it would be an island with that fine Middle Tennessee Boulevard on the other side. And so Steve went to our Congressman, Scott Desjardins, and said, can you look around and see if there's some federal dollars that could help us get a bridge that would go over and connect it? And so Congressman Desjardins found some, and then Congressman Fleshman, is Chuck still here? Chuck used his, quite frankly, muscle and got it done. And so being the greedy guy that Steve is, he's going back to Scott to try to get some money for Greenland Drive, because you have to put the various pieces together. And let me make just a real quick comment about Chairman Fleshman. Chuck is the chairman of the Appropriation Subcommittee, Energy and Water, and he credits Lamar Alexander for coming over and telling him that's what he should do. That's a big deal. And by being there, he has shepherded billions of dollars to Oak Ridge National Laboratory. And so he set up for the board, as well as some of the MTSU leadership, to go to Oak Ridge National Lab, find the common denominators, and you're going to see some really good, prestigious partnerships that are going to come from there. So let's add all that up. So that's more than $250 million, closer to $300 million that's going to be put on this northwest corner. I hope it doesn't sink it. And so you're really going to see, I think, just a whole different type of that front door. So let me find my right letter number card and finish. I know you're going. At least I didn't stand between you and the mill, but I know I'm standing between you and leaving. So let me just conclude with this. Yes, I am a Blue Raider fan, but I'm also an MTSU fan. And so this really is going to be a partnership for all. And as Steve said, it's a team effort. So we're all going to benefit. And I would like to say that Steve really was the inspiration for the team that gave us the vision and the perspiration that allowed us to get it over the line. So Steve, We thank you, we thank Denise and the MTSU community. By honoring you and Denise, we honor ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Gordon. There are a couple of folks who wanted to be with us tonight and were not able to be with us, but they have left us a short video message. The first of those, please take a look at the video screen and get some remarks from former Governor Bill Haslam.
It is such a privilege to talk about Steve and Denise Smith. You know, when you run for office, you meet a lot of people. It's a great experience. You meet a lot of people who want to help you, and unfortunately you figure out that some of those people have some other motives. Well, Steve and Denise Smith have no other motive other than the fact that they love our country and love our state and want to make it a better place. And so throughout the time that I was running for office or in office, it was always, how can I help? Never, what can you do for me? And that's one of the many reasons that I love them. There's one exception. Steve did ask for one thing. When we set up the board of directors for Middle Tennessee State University for the first time ever to have their own board, Steve said, I'd love to be on that. I said, well, I'll do you one better. I'll make you the chair of the board. And you know, I know I made a lot of bad decisions as governor, but that wasn't one of them. Steve's love for this university, his commitment to it, speaks volumes, and I think is one of the reasons that the university is really on such a great roll. And so it's perfectly appropriate that you're honoring Steve and Denise. They're great friends, they're great Tennesseans, and beyond all that, they are true blue.
Tickled to see Governor Haslam with that blue jacket on, Dr. McPhee. Pretty nice. Our next speaker has represented our state, our country around the world, and is here tonight to help celebrate this great occasion. He is a businessman, a family man, former head of the Tennessee Department of Economic Development, former United States ambassador to Japan, and our current United States Senator representing the great state of Tennessee. Please welcome Senator Bill Hagerty.
You know, when Governor Haslam talked about making some bad decisions, Steve, I was getting a lump in my throat hoping that I wouldn't be on that list. But if I think about it, this state really is on a roll. And so many people in this room have had a lot to do with it. But the spirit, the civic mindedness that you and Denise demonstrate are at the very core of what makes this state great. Something very special is happening here in Tennessee, and something very special is happening right here at this university. And I just think everybody ought to give another round of applause, if you would. Join me to applaud Steve and Denise Smith. Steve, my staff put together some great statistics on the athletic career that you had, from being a three-year letterman at BGA Academy to coming here and being the great pitcher for the Blue Raiders, and the many things that you've done in sports and athletics. I know Denise has been at your side through all of this. The things that you've done in the business community, you're a builder. You told me tonight, it's about putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And not many people can do that the way you can, Steve, because it's not just putting the pieces of the puzzle together, it's putting the people together. And you have a unique skill, a God-given skill, to be able to do that, because you can touch us all at our heart, because you yourself are so sincere. And I think this is a testament to your sincerity and love tonight. All these people are here because they love you and Denise. We're all here to thank you for your generosity. And this building is an embodiment of what you've done, not only for your community and state, but for the nation. Because if I think about what's going to happen here, it's not just the athletes and the students of today, but it's the leadership that's going to inculcate over the years to come. And those young people that move through this institution are going to wind up like those on my staff. My MTSU alumni, stand up for me, please. Valen. Yep. Luke. These young people are changing the world, Steve. And they're proud to be here with me tonight. And we have more staff that would be here if they could. But I just want to congratulate you and commend all of you for your love of this institution and the contributions that it's making to the state of Tennessee. And as the congressman said, this institution is a tremendous value. It's now become the largest educational institution of higher education in Tennessee, and we are on a roll. So thank you, Dr. McPhee. This is your leadership, your board. You've done a great job, but you could not have a better board chair, and you could not have a better person than Denise to support all of that. But I just close with this. The true manifestation of a person's character is in their children. And Steve and Matt and their families are here tonight. And there's nothing I know that you and Denise are more proud of, nor should you be more proud of, than these children and grandchildren. And the fact that they're here to celebrate with you today, I think, says all I need to say. Thank you, and may God bless.
Thank you, Senator Hagerty. Senator Hagerty's counterpart in Washington was unable to be with us tonight, but we do have some remarks from our Senator, Marsha Blackburn.
I do wish I could be with you today because what an important celebration you have. First of all, to Steve and Denise Smith, I say thank you so much for your contribution that you're making not only to MTSU, but to our great state. We appreciate that. And also to the faculty, the staff, and the students at MTSU. Having this Student Athlete Center is something that is the realization of a long-time dream and a goal. This is going to provide student athletes with the opportunity to approach excellence, to win more championships, to compete more successfully, because this is going to be home to the next generation of athletes who are working on academics and athletic training, weightlifting, nutrition, all that goes in to the training and the performance of a student athlete, you're going to find here in this center. So congratulations to the Smiths, congratulations to the university, and we are expecting to see success in competitions.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. Our next guest, and with some great words, is a gentleman who I've really enjoyed getting to meet here this evening. He is not only former governor, former senator. I never know how to address you, whether it's governor or senator. I just go with governor because that's what I remember the most. He is a member of the Vanderbilt Sports Hall of Fame and holds an NCAA record. And those of a certain age would have an educated guess that it might be for long distance walking across our great state. If a history book was written today, he would be listed as the most outstanding Republican in Tennessee history. He was, I mentioned, governor, president of the University of Tennessee, secretary of agriculture, and a U.S. senator. And he's dedicated his life to public service with an emphasis on education. Please welcome Lamar Alexander.
Thank you very much for the generous introduction, Chip. It reminds me of what Winston Churchill said. He said, "History will be kind to me because I will write it." And that's a better introduction than Roy Acuff gave one night on the Grand Ole Opry. Roy was getting along in years and he forgot the name of the person he was about to introduce. And he went on and on and on. Finally, he just said, "Oh, you know who you are. Come on out here and sing for the people." So I'm going to say this. Steve, I hope you'll go home tonight and give Denise a big hug and tell her how much we love her and how proud we are of you and her and the entire Smith family, because that's true. Anybody who knows Steve well knows that if you ask him about the Blue Raiders, the first thing he'll talk about is not the latest recruit or the winning and losing schedule for one sport or another. It's about the fact that MTSU, he says, has the highest graduation rate for its student athletes of any public school in America and is tied for 4th with Vanderbilt for all schools. That's what he's proudest of. And he's so proud of it, he went back to school a long time after he stopped pitching and got his own degree, just to set an example for everybody else. And the second thing he'll talk about is how proud he is, and so many people here are, because so many have helped, of the role that Middle Tennessee State University has assumed in academic leadership in this state and this region. For example, 1/2 of all the graduates of Metro Nashville high schools, public high schools, go to MTSU, 1/2 of them. So in many, many ways, this university, because of Steve's leadership and the leadership of Dr. McPhee and all of you, has reached new heights. And Steve is proud of that as well. As was already said, it's pretty unusual to have a left-handed pitcher who's in your Hall of Fame to also be chairman of your board. What I think is even more unusual than that is to have your head cheerleader, who's your left-handed pitcher and also your Hall of Fame and also chairman of your board. Steve, congratulations to you and congratulations to Denise.
Governor Alexander had a nice stat there. Half of Metro's high school graduates come here. I'm going to use a Derek Mason stat. On the I-24 corridor, North Nashville to Shelbyville, there's a Blue Raider graduate in 1 of every 6 households in that area. So there you go. We heard a moment ago from former Governor Haslam. Our current governor was unable to be with us tonight, but Governor Bill Lee also has some words tonight for the Smith family.
Hey, Blue Raiders, Governor Bill Lee here. I want to take a moment to recognize and congratulate a couple of my friends, Steve and Denise Smith, on their dedication for the recently completed Stephen and Denise Smith Student Athlete Performance Center at MTSU. Steve and Denise can always be found rooting on the Blue Raiders, whether that's in the stands or on the court or in a field. They've played an integral part in assuring successes across our athletic departments and numerous sports programs. And as we honor you both tonight, we look forward not only to the ribbon cutting tomorrow, the 30th, but also to the vast number of athletes that will benefit from this state-of-the-art facility for years to come. Throughout MTSU's history, there's no one more deserving of this dedication than Steve and Denise. We all thank and congratulate you on this honor. I thank you for your longtime friendship. Maria and I love you both.
Thank you, Governor Lee. And at this point, Congressman Gordon, if you would please come back to introduce our man of the hour.
Steve, there's been enough good things said about you, so now it's your turn.
Well, I know you've been on the edge of your seats waiting for me to speak. I think that probably the most appropriate thing to do is just to recognize the people that have gone to great effort to be here tonight. Chuck Fleischman, our congressman from Chattanooga, he drove over. He's driving back. 8-term congressman, MVP in the congressional baseball game, Wade. He's a left-handed pitcher. He's a Cardinal on Appropriations Committee and has been instrumental in helping Scott Desjardins get our proceeds, and that's just begun. So Chuck has been a close and loyal friend, and I left out Dr. McPhee. He's our bridge to Oak Ridge. He provided $4 billion to Oak Ridge last year. So when we went to Oak Ridge, and incidentally, Senator Alexander came to be with us as well. But when we went to Oak Ridge, they're likely to do what Chuck asked them to look at. And that's not by accident. He's a hard worker, left-hander, he's good. John Rose in the 6th District, a 4th-term congressman. He's on the Ag Committee and has been super helpful to our Tennessee walking horses, which has been a labor of love for me. David Kustoff just left. He drove from Memphis and then he's going back. He's a gentleman, 5-term congressman, served as U.S. Attorney in the Western District. He's on the most prestigious committee in Congress, the Ways and Means Committee. He was also, Lamar, he was my personal consigliere during Lamar's campaigns. I could call him and get legal advice and not be billed. So that was a good one. Former Congressman Van Hillary is here, he's 4th-term congressman. He's currently running for John's seat that he's vacating. So before we go any further, we need to realize we wouldn't be here without our board of trustees. J.B. Baker, Pete DeLay, Bill Jones, of course, Christine Kobowiak, and Mary Martin have all been integral players in putting this puzzle together. And it is a puzzle, and success has many fathers, so it is a puzzle. I think it'd be probably appropriate. When Chris came to me and said, the planners think we need a building in the end zone. And I said, well, how much does that cost a feller? He said, well, that's $60 million. I said, well, why don't we put a dome over the stadium? He said, what do you mean? I said, we got as much chance of raising 300 as we do 60, which is the case. We couldn't raise enough money to do this. But we put the pieces of the puzzle together, and with Dr. McPhee's leadership, Alan Thomas, who helped the balance sheet engineering so that we could finance the bonds to do this. Now, interesting, Bart, one correction. There's not one penny of state or federal dollars in this building. There's not one penny of state or federal dollars in this building. It's all so it gives me a chance to retract, though, and say, thanks to Butch Ely and Governor Lee, there's $119 million going next door. So they made up for it. 119. Murphy Center cost $10 million. 119. I can't get over that. State Senator Don White is here, and thank you. State Representative Tim Rudd is here, and thank you. Pat Marsh led the delegation to see Butch and Governor Lee to promote Murphy Center. Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr is here, and thank you. Smyrna Mayor Mary Esther Reed is here, and thank you. Bill Ketron, State Senator and Rutherford County Mayor, is here, and thank you. 2 or 3 extras that I want to recognize before I say my final things. But I wouldn't be here tonight without Tommy Smith. I got run off from one school, and Tommy Smith and my dad were partners, and they brought me up here to meet with Coach Murphy. And then we met with Maureen's father, and here I ended up. But I wouldn't have been here without their friendship. I need to say, too, Debbie, without Joey Jacobs, we wouldn't be here. I think it's a fun story to say, we had the meeting about how we're going to get going, and Joey and I are riding together to lunch. And I said, Joey, how much are you going to give? He said, I don't know, but I'm afraid of what they're going to ask. And I said, well, I'll give $1 million if you will. And he said, yeah, I'll probably let him off the hook, John. because he probably would have given 10 if I'd have asked. But when I told Denise, she said, "Have we got $1 million?" Not yet, but we will. We're betting on to come. So Tommy Smith and Scott, thank you. Scott flew from South Carolina here and back tonight, and it's a great honor for us to be here. John Floyd, number one, nearly 25% of the money we raised here came from our board. I think it's probably unusual. High, great number. But we met privately. Chris and I met with 5 or 6 individuals. All we got $1 million or plus from. But when I told John what the request was, he said, "I knew I was in trouble, but I didn't know I was in that big of trouble." Of course, he said what he always says, and thank you for asking, I'm in. The Lord loves a cheerful giver. And Ted Welch taught me, if you're going to give, be happy about it. There's no reason to beat somebody up about it. So John Floyd and Joy Jacobs, I mean, they're willing givers, and that's good. The Hollingsheads are here. This is their room named after him. They've been a great help to us here at school, and I anticipate many more requests. Andy Adams is not here, but Andy started us with $1 million+ gift for the tennis center. So that's a fantastic gift. So I'll interrupt by saying Jane Lynch Crane put this event together along with Lou Ann. I hired Jane Lynch 20 years ago to help me run Bill Frist's presidential finance campaign. And we think we've done a little bit more than 70 of these events and we raised $80 million for Frist once. So she's a pro. She's worked her fanny off. She's been up here twice, and we wouldn't be having the nice organized meal that we're having. So I want to just, the faraway visitors, Stephen Jr. came from Washington today, Fleischman from Chattanooga, John Rose interrupted his 24 hours of campaigning. Kustoff drove from Memphis. We offered to fly him, John, and he wouldn't, which is, I would have. You would have. Bill Haggerty came from Washington this afternoon, and he's on his way back for votes. He probably wanted to come about like he wanted pneumonia. Van Hillary is here, and thank you. And Senator Lamar Alexander drove in from Blackberry by himself. Now, I did bribe him with near a bushel of Denise's tomatoes. And then Frist flew from California to here and is leaving here to go to New York tonight. Keeps a schedule like a heart surgeon. And Tracy, who has a schedule that's unbelievable, took her time and love to be here. So really my message is thanks. Thanks for the good times. I've lived a great life and enjoyed 99% of it. Dr. McPhee and I have had a great partnership, and we've enjoyed 99% of it. We've had a few bumps in the road, not he and I necessarily, but others around us. So I want to thank everybody for being here, and thanks for your treasure and your friendship, because if you have any complaints, call Senator Haggerty. And if you really have any complaints, call Ms. McPhee. But we're here. This didn't cost the school anything either. Denise paid for this tonight. I want everybody to know. Who put that on? Who did the invitation list? Jane Lynch and I did the invitation list. For some reason, somebody got left off. I'm crushed, and I apologize. But we also paid for it. And I want somebody to know that we didn't spend any Bill Blue money or MTSU money on saying nice things about Denise and I. So thank you for being here, and look forward to us calling you for further investments, because you're investing in something that's bigger than self. And I told Dr. McPhee this the first day. My goal was to have one more child succeed than would have if I hadn't been here. And I'll copy one more line. I'm going to paraphrase what Senator Alexander used to say, that every night when he went to sleep, he was fairly confident he was moving something better for the state and the country. And I've not had one night in the last 9 years that I hadn't thought about what we can do at MTSU to make it better. So I want to thank Dr. McPhee and all my friends, and let's have a safe trip home, and I'm going to have a glass of Pinot Grigio. Thank you.
To wrap up our evening, I will bring up Director of Athletics, Chris Massaro, a man whose vision has redefined athletics at MTSU. Since stepping into his role in 2005, Chris has propelled MTSU to historic heights, amassing 87 conference championships, 3 individual national titles, and as you heard before, achieving a school record graduation success rate of 95%. That's worth your applause. The opening of the Smith Student Athlete Performance Center reflects his unwavering commitment to not only athletic success, but the academic and personal growth of every student athlete. From state-of-the-art facilities to prestigious national roles, such as his recent appointment to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, Chris Massaro's influence reaches far beyond our campus, so please join me in welcoming Director of Athletics at Middle Tennessee, Chris Massaro.
Thank you, and my role is just to give you some logistics, but first, thank you, Steve and Denise, for everything that you do. And it's just what a wonderful night to be able to honor 2 really dear friends. So one more hand for Steve and Denise. Steve covered it better than anyone could, but thank everyone for coming tonight. What a special evening this was. If anybody would like a tour of the building, please meet us on the 2nd floor in the lobby area of the 2nd floor, the Joey Jacobs Operations Center. And so then we'll be happy to walk you through the rest of the building. Those of you that are exiting out, make sure you pick up your commemorative baseball hat, the Steve Smith special. It's very rare tonight that we see him without the hat. So you all will have hats on the exit, and also a commemorative wine glass as well that marks tonight's occasion. So make sure you pick that up on your way out. Have a safe journey home, and thank you so much for coming. Go Blue.